Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studios in Madison. This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
You know, I usually hate Halloween, but I'm not going to lie. I'm enjoying Halloween today. It is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, presented by the official beer of the NFL, Bud Light. I'm Ben Brust, Ron Burgundy style, because I do, and I look like someone else today because I am dressed like Brad Nortman, our six-year NFL punter. You can see it on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee. You can see it on Twitter as well. I am in shoulder pads, a game-worn game-worn Jacksonville Jaguars jersey. I'm not going to lie, this helmet is slick.
Hey, you look like you're ready to lay the wood on someone. I might not have done that a ton in my career, but darn it, you look ready.
Well, I'm glad that you are already telling me that I look tougher than you by saying that.
Didn't say that. But
you did by saying I'm ready to go, tackle the punt returner.
You're ready, but not capable.
Oh, okay. All right. Shots fired. Kyle Wallace is here. He put some black. Is that some black eye?
Yeah, I had eye black. My goodness, boy, you ain't saying black.
Is that some black eye?
No, eye black. That would be eye black that I have on. I had it on this morning, but then it kind of faded away throughout the day. But I had to put it back on for showtime, baby.
I like it. So you are rocking your Whitefish Bay Blue Dukes jersey with the helmet, and this is the exact jersey in which you were standing on the sideline as our very own Bradley Nortman. What did he do? He caught, actually, you had a touchdown in that game.
I
found out.
Because I wasn't playing. I was on the side. I did have my.
Would you have matched up against the tight end?
Depends on what formation it was. If he was split all the way out, yes. Or if he was tight, he was the last guy on the end there.
Brad's not athletic enough to get split all the way out.
If he had no receiver outside of him, I would have been matched up on him. He wouldn't have scored if it was me.
I was too much of a blocking threat as well to be split out. You couldn't lose track of the blocking
like I said,
as well.
Had I played, we would have lost still, but he wouldn't have scored a touchdown on me.
Kyle, are we trying to exercise some demons here today by bringing this back up?
No. This is the first.
This is cathartic, maybe.
Yeah, he's wearing the jersey, and so I feel like a lot of emotions are coming back right now.
Heal the wound.
It may, as I think about it. This is the jersey that I had on back in 2007. It was a cold October day in 2007, where somehow a team that should have blew us out somehow, didn't. If you would have blew us out, they probably would have let this bum knee go in there.
That's true. It wasn't the best showing, but hey, maybe it just means the Whitefish Bay Blue Dukes, they got some guys too.
Yeah, now we have not described what Bradley Nortman's in. That jersey is near and dear to my heart.
Ooh, yeah, talk about it.
I'm not Bradley Nortman today either. I'm Ben Brust. I am yours truly, Ben Brust, and honestly, while I already put this on, and Ben generously let me wear it for the day. He said that's the Elite Eight jersey that he wore against Arizona. I mean, that is I wear that with pride.
So if we may go back down memory lane real quick. Again, Kyle Brust and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. I'm Ben Brust wearing a Jaguars jersey and a Jaguars helmet that is going to give me the biggest red thing in the middle of my head ever in the world. Kyle Wallace wearing his Whitefish Bay Blue Dukes jersey.
Kyle Wallace from 2007.
From 2007, and Brad Nortman dressed as Ben Brust in 2014. Homeboy Chris running the show. 800-990-3776. You can also get us on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee or streaming on Twitter. But Bradley, when everyone asks me about my time at the University of Wisconsin-Madison as a Badger, a lot of times I remembered for the half-court shot against Michigan my junior year. We hit the half-court shot. People forget too much about this. I hit the game winner in overtime, and we knocked off a great Michigan team. Then it's my second bet. Everyone's like, well, what about the Oregon game at the Bradley Center? You guys were down 13, came back and won. So I broke the school three-point record in that game. Neither of those two games are my favorite game because my favorite game was as a senior. I had never cut down nets before in my life. And so I had never been nervous before any game in my entire life as a collegiate athlete, as an athlete. Like, nothing really made me nervous. But knowing that if you make the Final Four, for some reason, right, making the Final Four is like winning a championship somehow, or at least like you're remembered for it. You hang banners for it. Whether that's right or wrong, that's not the discussion for today. It's what they do, so we're gonna go with that right now. But that game, I was ball reversal, rebound, don't screw up, please win guy. Because if you lose in the Elite Eight, you're just another team. If you go to the Final Four, you are remembered. And so to be a part of Bo Ryan's first Final Four, I think I had like 5 points, but like, you know, it was played just about every minute. But like it wasn't about me. That was the first moment in my life as an athlete where, not first moment, but like to see it all come together and to love your teammates and to like have that team win mean something more than anything you've done individually. That jersey is what I love because it remembers the time like that I put the blood, sweat, and tears with my teammates to help achieve something bigger than myself. So that jersey means a lot.
Wow. And I'm honored. I'm honored. Has anybody worn this since that moment?
No, just me.
Okay. Wow. How about that? I do feel honored.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Powerful. I will say this too. Ben Brust is so committed to being Brad Nortman today that he has fully chin-strapped himself up, and it's preventing his jaw from being able to really convey a lot of the Ben
you
Brust
tore yours
energy.
off.
It was too tight.
Well, and Ben,
It was too tight.
Ben's probably not hearing this, but as he's talking, there's like a squeak that's going on.
Is the squeak
Yeah.
too annoying, Chris, for the radio and stream listeners?
I really haven't heard anything that much. No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
I'm just saying, like, it's just like that is
Our
through-
audio
through
with
it
the
all.
headsets on is
Through
going to
it
hear
all.
everything, but I can undo the chin strap because it's kind of annoying me. I'm like, why is
Yeah.
it creaky?
To go 3 hours to wearing a chin strap, I mean, that would be. I mean, there was a reason why I took that helmet off immediately when I hit the sideline. It's not terribly comfortable. You too, Kyle.
No. I'm gonna tell you this now. There is no way I'm wearing this helmet for 3 hours.
I'm committed to the grind.
I am not because I'm gonna have a headache messing around with you.
I'm not going to lie. So Brad showed me a picture of what he looked like as a Jacksonville Jaguar in this very jersey. I think I pull it off better. I think you need
That's false.
I think you need to send me that photo. I think you need to I'll get a side-by-side going up, and we'll see who wore it better. You as an actual professional punter? No. You got to get me in. We need the break. We need to go get. We're not going to break right now, but we're going to go get the football, and then we're going to recreate a moment. And soon to be, you'll see my punting skills on Twitter X at some point once that gets up there. But right now, believe it or not, we are 53 minutes away from the end of the NFL trade deadline. And so far, there has been some teams within the division that have made moves. That would be the Chicago Bears, who traded for Montez Sweat and got rid of a pick. That would be the Minnesota Vikings, who traded for Josh Dobbs, knowing that Kirk Cousins has torn an Achilles. And a bigger NFC move, a team that continues to be in the conversation to win Super Bowls, is a third-round pick for Why am I blanking? Chase Young. I was going to say Chase Brown for some reason. Chase Young of the Commanders is going to the 49ers. That is disgustingly scary for the NFL. And it only took a third rounder. And I guess I ask you, like, what is your ideal trade right now for the Green Bay Packers? I mean, I'm sitting here right now, and this was before we even got this close to the end. If I know Goody, he ain't doing anything, right? He's not going to do anything significant right now, because he came in with the plan, and with what we've learned about Goody is he's stubborn. You've talked about it, Brad. You've talked about him wanting his fingerprints on the team, and if he says we're going into the season young, why would he change the strategy now?
I don't think he will. And if anything, well, look, historically, the Green Bay Packers have never been active at the trading deadline, whether it be, hey, this is a Super Bowl caliber year, a.k.a. 2020, 2021, whatever it is. They've never been active in acquiring talent around the trade deadline. And for the same reasons, they haven't been active in selling either. Now, they haven't had many selling years recently, but this would be a year where it'd be clearly a selling year. And it's for the same reason. It's Green Bay just has this draft and develop mentality that they stick with no matter what, through thick and thin. And even if that goes above logic, and if you could make honestly a quick buck out of some guys via draft picks. So I don't think they're going to make any trades, as they historically have. And I think that it's something that you have to be aware of going forward. And if anything, if I could make a trade, or if there was someone that I think could be traded, I think it would have to be a non-Goody guy. Let's be honest, right? Like, Goody loves his dudes, and he's going to hold on to them for thick and thin. And also an area where we have some depth, and an area where
Depth.
Well,
Where you see depth?
some depth. And that would be, to me, if you would trade Preston Smith. He's already in his 30s. He's going to be around for another 3 years.
You drafted a defensive end.
You drafted Van Ness. Let him get some reps. You already locked up your guy in Gary. So see if there's something that you could get out of him. But as we're seeing, look at the Washington Commanders and their activity. They got a second and a third out of those guys. Now, first of all, a second feels probably right for Sweat. A third feels like a steal for the 49ers to get Young. In a year, they're going all in. But I don't know why the Packers don't entertain this more. They should entertain it more.
It wouldn't be the year. It wouldn't be the year to buy.
No,
to entertain buying.
To sell. But they're not going. But they're not going.
But it's just sad, like thinking about how, like, as the NFL evolves, you see a 49ers team who's already, like shown that they can get to the Super Bowl, continue to try and build a better roster, even though they, like, again, someone look at their defense, they haven't played well. It's the NFL. I still have faith in what they've been able to do and what they've shown us, but they didn't just settle. They went and did that. When's the last time the Packers did that? They were. How many times have you heard Kyle? Yeah, we were in the conversation.
Always.
Every single time.
Always in the conversation.
So what would you do? What's your ideal situation before 3 o'clock?
And so this year is the roles reversal. This is a position that we have not been in a very long time for the Green Bay Packers, because this team is going nowhere fast, and they need to shift the focus to focusing on the future and what the team can look like next year. And they have to figure out who needs to be here, who doesn't need to be here. And so the ideal trade candidates, I think you're absolutely right. Preston Smith, he's a guy that you don't need next year. You already have young guys that you draft. You have Gary on the outside. You have in Kingsley Enagbare on the outside. You also have the Luke Van Ness that you
But here's the thing. You're naming guys, but these guys are nothing to you.
But you got to let them play.
Same thing as the receivers. Let them get reps.
Yeah, this is the time that you have to let them play and figure things out. You used a first-round draft capital on Gary. You know who he is. Now, Van Ness, you use first-round draft capital on him. You have to figure out who he is. Also, keep it on defense. Campbell, Devondre Campbell, get rid of him as well. Isaiah McDuffie has been playing most of the time anyway, so move on from Campbell. I don't care if you get a 5th-round pick, a 4th-round pick, or a 6th-round pick. It's all about getting capital so you can utilize those picks in the draft to potentially move up. Another guy, Douglas. You can get rid of Douglas. You can get rid of Nixon. And you know who else you can get rid of? This is one that might get you something. Kenny Clark as well. You can move on from Kenny Clark at this point as well, because Kenny Clark can give you something again.
We know what he is. We've seen it year in and year out the last 4 years. He has not changed one bit. He always shows flashes, but he can't show consistency.
And that's the thing, is that he is not a consistent disruptor. He can be a disruptor. He can play well, but he is not a game changer. And at that position, there are game changers that you can draft. And if you can get a 2nd-round pick for Montez Sweat, I think, or a 3rd-round pick, you can get a 2nd or 3rd-round pick for Kenny Clark. So I believe those are the guys that you can.
Yeah, third, fourth.
Those are the guys that I'm going to stick with 3rd. Goody, if it's a 4th round, keep him. But if it's a 3rd round, you can consider it. But those are the guys you should think about moving. And again, I don't trust Goody when it comes to the draft time, but acquiring assets is what they should do. And then on the flip side, if there is any young talent that could potentially be part of this picture, this puzzle in the future, you should evaluate those guys and try to bring them on this team. Earlier this year, when we didn't know that the Packers were going to suck, we talked about getting Jonathan Taylor. When we didn't know the Packers were going to suck after week 1, we didn't know the Packers were going to suck. We talked about Jonathan Taylor. I was still, and again, there's not a lot of Jonathan Taylors out there, but a guy that could be young and could be a piece on this team, because your running back position, you don't know what you're going to have 2 years from now for the running back position. So just trying to figure out who could potentially we acquire now, who may be young and available, that we can have 2 years from now or 3 years from now.
Have they done this in the NFL? Bobo and the Bunny Ranch is kind of messing, but I kind of love it. I think they've traded head coaches in the NBA.
They have traded. John Gruden got traded from the Raiders to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Hell, wow. I'd move Matty LaFleur. If you can find a suitor, I'd move Matty LaFleur. Get somebody who can develop some young talent, because that's the future of this team.
I think Matt LaFleur would like to be moved as well. I think he is.
You know what? You're not wrong.
That he is not intended for. That
Chris, put it on
for.
Twitter at KBN ESPN. Would you be open to Goody trading Matt LaFleur?
What could you get for him?
I'd like
picks. They get.
I mean, look, the guy won. Again, it's about the team, right? It's about the team you trade him to. I think you trade him to a team that has veterans that you like. You think you're missing.
Jeez.
What?
John Gruden got traded from the Raiders to Tampa Bay Buccaneers in exchange for 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks and $8 million.
I would trade Matt LaFleur. I would trade Matt LaFleur for 2 first rounds in a heartbeat.
Man, I'll take a 3rd-round pick. You can take little Matty Mouse. What's his name? Matty Mouse?
Matty Mouse.
Are you on board with Matty Mouse now?
Shoot, if they going to offer some picks for Matty Mouse, he can take his ass on somewhere.
But this is when you want to oversell him. He's mighty. He's mighty Matt right now.
We got the coach, Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, you gotta jack him up.
Yeah, we got Matty Mouse who can help the team win the Super. He can get you.
Yeah.
He can get NFC champion.
You want him on your sideline.
You want to get to the NFC championship game? We got your guy. 2 first-round picks.
Y'all took our one coach. Want to take another? I know. Jerry Jones is willing to give up a first-round pick and $8 million in cash.
Lance chimes in on YouTube. He wants to trade Goody. I wish that was possible. As we discussed, Mark Murphy obviously not going to move on from Goody. On the personal talk and text line, we have Matt chiming in. Of course they're not going to do anything. They're getting ready for their staff sledding party this winter. As I've seen a lot of GIFs and pictures of good old Mark Murphy going down the sledding hill. 800-990-3776. I need a break. Ooh, this helmet is hard. On YouTube, again, at ESPN Milwaukee, Brad Nortman in my former Badger basketball jersey, Kyle Wallace in the jersey that he ended his high school career in, and Ben Brust looking better than Brad Nortman did in his NFL Jaguars jersey. I'm ready to go kick some field goals and punt. More Kyle, Brust, and Nortman next.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
Hey, Russell, this is Brad. Awesome. I had nothing before then. I had nothing before then.
Hey, Russell, this is Brad.
Hey, Russ, what up, Russ?
Awesome. And I'm going to read this word for word.
Yeah,
That's who I am.
all right, let's give him the floor. I'm going to
Yeah, don't interrupt, dang it.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Hey, it's Alex Strofe. Stay in the know on area high school sports and follow ESPN Madison on Twitter for Prep Mania on Deck, each week's preview of the top games and events. Prep Mania on Deck is brought to you by Zimbrick Honda, a proud supporter of high school sports and local communities.
I'm attorney David Gruber. You've heard our slogan thousands of times, but we are much more than just one call. We are one team, one community, one family, and we're the one law firm that can get you the results and compensation you deserve after a serious accident. Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
When you want to show just how you feel, come to Chalmers Jewelers. Our custom jewelers have been working day and night to come up with the most amazing custom jewelry. Truthfully, in the 30 years I've been in business, we have the largest inventory of custom jewelry that we have ever had. Amazing prices, amazing selection, and one-of-a-kind pieces. Come see our incredible variety at either location or chalmersjewelers.com.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
And Madison.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB Academy offers training programs for players of all ages and skill levels. Learn from some of the best baseball coaches in the area and find the program that fits your training goals and your schedule. Spots are filling up fast, so visit grbacademy.com to sign up now. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
Spend Black Friday at Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison and you got a chance to make it a Cash Friday. On Friday, November 24th from 5 to 8 p.m., 21 winners will spin the prize wheel and take home between $500 and $5,000 cash each in our Cash Friday promotion. Plus, November 24th is Ho-Chunk Day, and we're celebrating by giving the first 500 guests that visit our Rewards Club booth $25 in rewards play. Make Cash Friday part of your holiday tradition at
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
Dash the Dane. That's right, Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company has expanded their delivery offerings with DoorDash. New customers get $5 off your first order of $25 or more. And don't forget, Dash Pass subscribers always receive free delivery. Order delivery today at GreatDanePub.com or on the DoorDash app and get food delivered from the Great Dane closest to you. Downtown, Hilldale, Fitchburg, or East Madison. Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's home for craft beer and pub food since 1994.
Madison area residents, Ridgetop Exteriors is offering free 101-point inspections for roofing, siding, windows, and gutters due to recent high winds and hail in your area. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today before winter weather sets in or visit ridgetopexteriors.com. That's ridgetopexteriors.com.
Buck and Honey's in Monona is hosting the new Wisconsin Huddle Show featuring star Wisconsin athletes and CBS sports anchor Zach Hanley every Monday night at 6:30. A $30 ticket includes a reserved seat, meet and greet, and a themed tailgate-style dinner spread. Wisconsin Huddle airs on WISC CBS every Friday evening. Come be a part of the live taping of Wisconsin Huddle and get to know your favorite Wisconsin student athletes. Call B&H Monona to reserve your seat at 608-478-2618. We'll see you at Buck and Honey's.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
What's wrong with me? Why do I feel like this? I'm going crazy now.
Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. I usually hate Halloween, but if I can go all in, I will go all in. Have I shown you, Brad, the picture of me as Voldemort?
I have seen it, and it was pretty horrifying.
Exactly. Like, so that's the thing. Is like, if you're gonna say, hey, go to the costume shop and just like pick out a costume and just wear it, I'm not in. But if we're gonna get like super, like I'm you today, and I feel really important.
Yeah.
Like, this is a game-worn NFL jersey. I have shoulder pads on and a real helmet that you wore in the NFL.
Game-worn jersey.
This has been worn by someone who's made millions.
Yes, correct. And
yes, correct.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yes, correct. Very good. Very good.
And even further.
No, I did that one.
Yeah.
That's not.
What am I supposed to say?
He said, yeah,
what am I supposed to say?
millions. Yeah, that's correct.
That's true. It's on public record.
Yeah.
I mean, I can look up his contracts.
And the shoulder pads they gave me day one in Carolina, wore those all throughout. So those are Panther shoulder pads, and then I brought them to Jacksonville. So those babies been with me the whole way. The whole stinking way.
I grabbed a football because I feel like I needed to like have, the pigskin while I'm doing the show here. You can stream us on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee, on Twitter as Kyle Wallace dressed up as his high school self, standing on the sideline. What was ACL?
Yep, my left ACL gave out.
Tough.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that is what it is. It's life. Look where I ended up.
Yeah, right here. Exactly where you dreamed of.
Exactly. I wasn't going to the NFL, so it doesn't matter.
Brad Nortman dressed in the 2014 Wisconsin Badgers Elite Eight victory jersey against the Arizona Wildcats. Very proud of that one. And you can get involved in the show, 800-990-3776. Before we get to old team Mark Tauscher, who, miracles exist on Halloween. He's scheduled for his normal time on Tuesday at 2:30 for the first time in a month. Very excited about that. Let's get to the KBN Academy.
In radio, our goal's pretty simple.
Just so you know, you really suck.
Have an A show or an F show.
Hey, I'll decide who sucks around here.
The same goes for topics in this next segment. This is the KBN Academy.
Those that can't do, teach.
It is the KBN Academy, in which we have Professor Wallace, Professor Nortman, and Professor Brust. We're here to answer some questions. You guys can answer yourself as well, but you can only give an A or an F. There's no B's, C's, or D's, or anywhere in between. Let's start here. A restaurant in Georgia will add a surcharge fee of $50 to the bill of parents who have kids who misbehave. A or F, you agree with this restaurant's policy?
This is the biggest F in the world. Where's the grace? Where's the understanding? Where's the forgiveness to deal with your fellow man and their kids? You know who the owner of this restaurant probably is? They're probably people without kids. I mean, to have that sort of lack of understanding and forgiveness for a freaking family just trying to go out to eat with their kids. Good luck trying to keep them from misbehaving. So this is all wrong. Even as someone without kids right now,
I hope it
I would
backfires.
boycott.
Yeah, I hope it backfires.
That ain't right.
It's an F. It's an F. And if you say A, I'd love to hear it.
So here's the thing. I have frequented Water Street establishments, and when you don't want a certain crowd or certain people there, you create rules in order to keep them people out. Now, though I may disagree with rules such as neck tattoos and baggy jeans and Timberland boots that they have on Water Street that you can't wear, it's their establishment, and this is America, baby. If they decide they don't want to have loud, crying, screaming, unruly, crazy kids running around that you can't control, and if you bring them wild, unruly kids into their store, you got to pay an extra $50, then you know
Good
what?
catch.
So
they
you
can do
agree?
that. Listen, I just would not frequent that restaurant because you know what? I know I'm going to have some little wild baby kids, and I ain't worried about that. So I'm just not going to go to that place because I know my kids are going to cost me an additional $50. So if you want to boycott them because they want to make up their own rules, well, that's un-American.
I can't argue with a lot of that other than I just hope this backfires for them. Because, again, I agree. This has to be somebody who hates children.
For sure.
And again, I'm for it. Like, you can do you if you don't want children, but don't take it out on people. Like, you're hurting your business. Unless you're creating, like, a cult of kid haters and, like, that's all you want in your restaurant. Can't get behind it.
What type of restaurant is this? A steakhouse?
It's a weird stance to take.
Chris, I believe you wrote this. Do you know what type of restaurant this was?
It's not an upscale restaurant from what I read. It's more of like it's basically your sit-down place or whatever. It's not anything upscale.
Yeah, they might put themselves out of business.
Yeah, that's tough. Let's move over to Kirk Cousins, who's going to miss the remainder of the season for the Vikings after tearing his Achilles Sunday. Joshua Dobbs, the Arizona quarterback, was traded to the Vikings, as I believe Kyler Murray will be coming back for the Cardinals. ARF, the Packers will finish higher in the NFC North than the Vikings.
No, that's an F2. There's no chance. The Packers are just bad. They're bad, guys. They're bad. And the Vikings actually are trying to improve themselves, getting a guy like Dobbs to play quarterback. They got more talent. They got more to play for. It's an F.
Yeah, no, how much I am a Packer backer, that is an absolute F. You know why it's an F? Because Jordan Addison just showed who he is in the last 2 weeks. KJ Osborne is a pretty decent receiver. And then on top of that, they actually have Justin Jefferson, who is a legit guy who is going to find a way to win you 2 football games, even with Joshua Dobbs at quarterback. So, no, it's an absolute F. The Vikings probably win 7 games, and the Packers ain't winning more than 5.
Pete McGuanago chimes in Germany, they outlaw kids in some places.
Sounds like Germany.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I'm going to leave that right there. Going to leave that one right there.
Wissen? Is that German?
I don't know, but it's
gibberish.
I bought it.
Nine's German, yes.
9 is German. Otherwise, it sounded like
gibberish.
Yeah, you
Chris,
weren't really.
German?
Yeah, I know 9.
You know anything else?
Guten Tag.
Oh, very good. Very good. That's it for KBN Academy because, again, I want to save as much time as possible for old team Mark Tauscher. He was a phony today on Wildy and Tausch because he wore his Chewbacca mask for 10 minutes of the show as you see Kyle Wallace on stream with his helmet on, carrying the football. As I believe, let's see, Bobo and the Bunny Ranch chimes in. Kyle looks like one of the kids from Little Giants. I tend to agree with that one as well. 800-990-3776 on Twitter, at YouTube, at ESPN Milwaukee. And we will continue to talk to you, KBN Nation, plus get to Packers Hall of Famer, Mark Tauscher, next.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light.
The fact that I, within a month and a half, would have an opportunity to have Sierra thinking about me, oh, my goodness. I signed up to be with y'all, but I will happily be with Sierra.
All right, take it easy. Put it in the pants. Put it in the pants.
Stop it. Not that type of happy.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. I joined the Princeton Club because I was looking for a place I could invest in my health, and the environment and the community I have felt has made it so easy for me to incorporate it into my everyday life. It doesn't matter where you're at in your fitness journey because they have something to offer everyone. It also goes beyond fitness. From the moment you walk in the club to the moment you walk out, there is a togetherness felt throughout the members and staff that keeps you going for your better tomorrow. Don't wait any longer and get started on your fitness journey today at PrincetonClub.net. That's PrincetonClub.net.
Now, Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Today, football is a game of sound. What if you couldn't hear your coach's play calls? What if you couldn't hear the referee's whistle? For deaf and hard of hearing athletes like me, these what-ifs are a reality. But with the AT&T 5G helmet, now we can see play calls just like the other teams hear them.
Connect the player, change the game. Learn more at att.com/5G helmet. Connecting changes everything. AT&T. AT&T is a proud supporter of the Gallaudet Bison. AT&T 5G helmet not for sale.
It's spooky season, and that means spooktacular savings at Metro Ford of Madison. Get into a stylish 2023 Ford Edge at 0% APR financing. For 66 months to qualify credit, $16.43 per 1,000 borrowed. Or the popular Ford F-150 for 3.9% APR. For 66 months to qualify credit, $15.15 per 1,000 borrowed. Also included is a new 4K big screen smart TV with the purchase of a new vehicle. Spooktacular savings are at Metro Ford of Madison. Search inventory at metrofordofmadison.com.
John Hayes for Goodman's Jewelers. As we celebrate 90 years of serving the Madison area, to commemorate this occasion, we'll be giving away a .90 carat lab-grown diamond to one lucky customer. You can register to win at our store at 220 State Street or find us on Facebook or Instagram for your chance to enter the contest. Throughout October, we'll have a flash sale and other days when you can save up to 30% on some of our most coveted jewelry styles. 90 years in business is a long time. Help us make more timeless moments for you, our loyal customers. John Hayes for Goodman's Jewelers. Help us celebrate 90 years in business. In October, we'll have a flash sale and you can save up to 30% on selected jewelry styles. Visit us at 220 State Street or find us on Facebook or Instagram for your chance to win a .90 carat lab-grown diamond. John Hayes for Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933. Yes, 1933. That's 90 years. Help us celebrate and make more timeless moments.
The best is at Goodman's.
UW Credit Union presents the Prep Mania Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org.
Hi, this is Dennis Semrau from Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania here on 100.5 ESPN. We're very excited to partner with UW Credit Union to help bring you even closer to the stories of great young student athletes. Each week, as part of this season of Prep Mania, will feature the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week. UW Credit Union is proud to support local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. And just like the fantastic student athletes we'll be telling you about all season, UW Credit Union's online banking also goes above and beyond with top-rated service and security that exceeds industry standards. UW Credit Union is here for you, presenting the Prep Mania Student Athlete of the Week. Learn more at uwcu.org.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
I am unwritten. Undefined.
On 2:30, or at 2:30 on a Tuesday. 2:33, but we'll take it. Mark Tauscher, Packers Hall of Famer, is joining Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. You can hear Tausch from 9 to noon across these very stations, Monday through Friday. You can hear him as the color analyst for the Wisconsin Badgers. You can hear him on the Green Bay Game Day postgame show. He's a man of many talents, a Packers Hall of Famer. Tausch, welcome in to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
Oh, it's good to be here and on time. No drama this week. This might be the last week there's no drama.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of feel like Greg in the previous show of Scalzo and Brust, where it's like it felt too easy today. When I texted you 2:30, I was like, "Is he messing with me? Like, why did he say okay?"
I know. Yeah, I know. And trust me, there'll be times it'll be a lot more complicated. But it's Halloween, and I'm in a good mood. So, yeah, it's 2:30 it is today.
Have you had a chance to check out our outfits? And I'm so glad I got this text. Packers defensive back Rasul Douglas to the Buffalo Bills.
All right
Okay.
now. When we get a fifth round.
So why no, Tausch?
Yes.
We traded Sewell?
Sewell.
No, I don't like that one bit. I don't like that at all. Why are you guys clapping for that?
Because Rasul Douglas isn't going to be part of the rebuild of this team. What are we looking to do this year? At this point, we know what we're looking for is looking towards the future.
Okay, fair. Fair on those points, but you can't just rip everything down and expect things to be built back up if you don't have any type of foundation. So Rasul Douglas is the kind of guy you want on your football team. He plays aggressive. He's a leader on that group. They went to him to discuss the not using the youth as an excuse anymore. It was him and Preston. And I believe Rasul Douglas, tell me I'm wrong, I think he had another year left on his deal. You weren't paying him a ton. And he has been the most productive player on your defense. If he's not it's one of the most. I get the whole concept of it, but if you're looking at this from being in that locker room and you're a veteran, you're Jair Alexander, and you're already a little bit irritated.
You're like, trade me at this point.
This ain't going to go over well.
Yeah, Tausch, what do you think this tells the team?
It's not a positive sign for this year's team. Again, this team is so young, and you don't have the scars. You're kind of just figuring things out. But Rasul Douglas, man, that's tough news for all of us that were thinking we could improve and get better. He's been one of your best players. He's always available. And
I will say there has been a lack of leadership, but it seems as if Rasul has kind of played the part of a leader. Am I wrong on that? Of any of the guys on the back end of the defense?
So, there's no doubt on the backside, the back end of that defense. Yeah, I think he would definitely be your guy. Your safeties are young. Kenny Clark is more of a example guy than a really chatty, talkative cat. So, yeah, you love the way he carries himself. He had to earn everything he's got. There's nothing that's been given to Rasul Douglas, and I really
would say the interception at the goal line was given to him, but that's about it.
That wasn't given to him. He read it and stuck with it. He's just earned everything. I respect the heck out of how he's approached this. And if that report's true, and I'm not going to doubt you guys.
Yeah, it was. I'm looking. That's exactly what I'm looking for, Tausch. There's no details as to what the Packers received. If you had to guess, what would you guess? I would say a third or fourth.
If it's a third, I feel a little bit better.
Yeah, it's probably a fourth.
Yeah, man, that's a bummer. I think because looking at this, and we've talked about it a bunch. Listening to you guys, you're obviously looking at this and saying, well, what are you going to do with this roster, and how are you going to give a fair assessment of Jordan Love and everybody else? And I think the question is, are you getting a fair assessment when you have all this youth? You can make the argument that it's really tough to do. You're still going to be able to make some type of declarations off of it. But I was actually hoping today, if you're going to get rid of somebody, I thought Preston Smith, who's been playing great, would have been somebody that you could have probably gotten some good compensation back for, and you have Lucas Van Ness ready to go. Here, you just put Stokes back on the IR. Where are you going to replace him other than if you're going to go with some of these younger guys, which is what you're going to end up doing? It's really a tough sell in the locker room when you trade away one of your best players and one of your leaders on your team at this point in the season.
But where has these leaders gotten this team, Tausch? For real. Where have these leaders gotten this? And so at this, and what we do know is that Rasul Douglas isn't going to be part of the major turnaround that we have. And having a guy like Carrington Valentine, who played very well in preseason, had a great training camp, having a chance to get out there and play snaps and play reps, he may be a guy that emerges as a second starting corner for this football team.
Well, there you go. Listen, I understand what Brian Gutekunst is doing. I understand the whole concept of it, but you also have to look at this in the youth movement, having everybody grow up together, which is what he has said. There's a value in making sure you're growing up the right way.
Yeah.
And that you're going about your business the right way. And you can't just say, all right, all these young guys grow. Well, if somebody's setting a bad example, is there somebody there to say, what are you doing? Is there somebody there to say how you watch film, how you dress, how you do all this stuff? Is there somebody there that's, in that locker room that can do that? Because I feel like listening to what Jason had to say and what these guys did after that tough loss on Sunday, Rasul Douglas and Preston Smith were the guys that they went to. And leadership is hard, especially when you're losing. How is that going to work when when it's all young? I want these young guys to get opportunities. That's how you become a solid NFL veteran player. You got to go out and do it. I just hope that when you make these moves that you have the right guys and the right coaches leading this group when you are kind of getting rid of a lot of your veteran.
Talking with Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher here on Kyle Brust and Nortman.
Left you guys speech?
No, you dropped for a second. I didn't know if you were still going. You know what? You're right. You were just so great right there that I didn't even know what to say.
I didn't even think it was that great. That's weird.
But the news right now is Rasul Douglas is traded to the Buffalo Bills. Still waiting on the compensation that the Packers will receive back from that. But Tausch, I'm having a hard time because, I believe it's the right move to sort of hit the reset button, but at the same time, you're hitting the reset button, and I know you're a Goot stan, but his resume is trading away Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, and then picking Jordan Love as his guy, and then setting Jordan Love up with a roster that is not in a great place to succeed. And if you're going to be selling at the deadline, these picks are going to go to the same guy that has built this roster. It's just that's the tricky part for me. Should Packer fans be confident in selling when you look at the product on the field that he put together from a personnel standpoint?
No, I think you should be very judgmental. Brian Gutekunst has done it this way, and I think Brian Gutekunst has, before this year, he rebuilt a roster that couldn't beat the Arizona Cardinals at home. He understood that you're missing pieces, grabbed 4 free agents, and they all were huge contributors to teams that went to NFC Championship games. So his track record in that regard has been good. But if you want me to say his track record on the wide receiver position has been good, I can't. And now the O-line is struggling. He kept David Bakhtiari, and that decision hasn't been good. So for as big of a Goot stan as I've been, and I still believe that Brian Gutekunst is a very good talent evaluator, there's more to this job than just doing that. And right now, if these young players aren't any good and they can't be NFL starters, Brian Gutekunst ain't going to have a job. That's how this business
Hang on,
works.
Tausch, you say he's a good talent evaluator. Can you point to some specific examples that make you say yes?
I think when you look at what he did in 2018 to replenish this roster and to get you in a position. Now, this is with Aaron Rodgers, so you can use that argument. Great. I'm not going to fight you on it. But he built a roster that you had to fire a Super Bowl winning coach in the middle of the season for. You replenished it, and you put your team in a position where you were the number 1 seed 2 years. You made it to the NFC Championship game 2 out of 3 years. So to tell me he didn't know how to build a roster and to get the situation where this team had opportunities to win a Super Bowl championship, I can't agree with that either. Now, when you look at the reset's a whole new grade. His first part of his career, I think he did a pretty good job. Now, this part has started off sluggish. How is Jordan Love going to be? That's obviously his big legacy question. But this receiving core, if this is how it looks next year, it's failed. So all this has to get better. But right now, I'm not giving him an F like you want to, and like I think a lot of people do. I give him an incomplete. He gets time to see, but he don't get as much time as I think everybody thinks. This business turns quick.
Sure does. Got a comp update if you're interested.
Let's hear it.
Rasul Douglas, the Packers receive a 3rd, and they send Rasul and a 5th rounder to the Bills.
I like it.
So in essence, you're getting a 4th. In essence, you're giving up a 4th is what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing. Goody's really had a good track record of 3rd-round picks as we've been through that one before.
The thing is that Rasul Douglas, you got him for nothing. And now you're able to flip a player that proved himself into a 3rd-round pick where hopefully Goody
I think that's a good perspective.
Hopefully Goody isn't making a pick because this team sucks. We win 4 games or less, then you got to move on from Goody because that means Jordan Love probably wasn't what we expected him to be. But you got to move on. So I think this is a great trade.
Well, Tausch, at least my next question to you. I'm of the belief that Goody is getting one massive pass this year, maybe a little bit into next year. I have no other explanation with how young he can build this roster and how honestly willing he is to let this team struggle struggle this year. He must be getting a huge pass from Mark Murphy and the powers that be at Lambeau Field. Do you buy that?
I don't know if I'd say a pass, but I think he's getting a period of this is what we went all in. We spent over the cap. We spent a bunch of money on Debach, and we paid all these guys top-end contracts. And we have to rip this thing down to the studs, and that's what they've done. So do I think Goody did this without having these conversations with Mark Murphy? Mark Murphy ain't going anywhere. Mark Murphy will be here until he retires, which is 25. Do I think that he gets this year for sure? Absolutely. Now, when you start looking at Matt LaFleur and how that goes, if this team doesn't improve, I think that's where the conversations get difficult with Matt LaFleur. Brian Gutekunst's going to be the GM this draft. Unless something crazy happens, he'll be using that third-round pick. He'll be using that second-round pick he got for trading Aaron Rodgers, and he's going to try and build this thing up. The question is, are you going to see development and growth from the guys that are on this team right now that you feel good about moving forward with? Because if you don't, then you really have to start questioning, all right, well, what have we done? What did we gain out of this year? Because you're not going to be a playoff team more than likely. You're not going to win a ton of games, but at least you could say, man, we got a couple wideouts we love. We like Musgrave. And guys that you can build on and then go and some of the spots that you don't feel good about, supplement with free agent pickups and some of the cap room that you're going to get. But otherwise, yeah, if this thing goes really far south, I think everything needs to be evaluated. If this team continues to regress, you have to question everything that's going on. And if you don't, I think you're just kind of being a lackey.
I mean, I think that's the thesis of today. Everything's nobody's off limits except Rashawn Gary. I think is that fair to say?
I would say Elton Jenkins and Rashawn Gary would be your two that are untouchable, and it looks like Jordan Love and everybody else. I would probably put Christian Watson in there too. And Jair Alexander.
Hey, Kyle had said it. He had said it. If you could go back, would you have traded Watson for Jordan Taylor? Or Jonathan
Jordan Taylor, the basketball player?
Yes, sorry. He's one of my good friends, yes.
He's seeing me in this jersey.
Watson for Jonathan. Yeah. Brad's in my former Badger
Sam Decker. Hey, you throw Sam Decker and an actual lion, then I'll start thinking about it.
Fair enough, old T. Thanks for joining, breaking down everything here as, you can hear Tausch weekdays 9 to noon across these various stations.
Kyle, just so we get a little roll call here. Kyle feels great about what just happened with Rasul Douglas. Norty, you feel?
I feel good. I have a clear understanding of where this team is now. Very clear.
Okay. Benny?
Tausch, I said it before the week. I said the best thing that can happen to the Green Bay Packers is they blow out the Vikings and show this team has some fight, or they get blown out so we have clarity about how bad they are. And that clarity, I think, led to this decision to sell. I think it's the right move. Again, my questions are about Goody. I don't trust Goody. He moved on from 2 Hall of Famers, and then he put his stamp on Jordan Love and put this young roster around him. He set him up to fail. And so I have no faith that even with this third-round pick or whatever draft capital he has, that he's going to be able to build a team around Jordan Love.
Well, there you go.
Thanks, old T.
See you guys.
That's Mark Tausch. You can hear him on Willie and Tausch from 9 to noon across these very stations on the Badger Radio Network and on Green Bay Game Day post-game show after every Green Bay football game. Tausch loves some Gina Della, and I know Brad loves some Gina Della.
I love me some Gina Della because she is always a winner, and the team at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, they always execute, they always deliver, and they're offering some incredible plays right now. Products with limited lifetime warranties, incredible innovations like blinds and shades between the glass. I know that would be nice on a day like today when you want to look out the window and not see snow on the ground. That is something I was not expecting, was not happy about, but sure happy when you have Pella Windows and Doors protecting your home and all the heat inside of it. Installation is as easy as a day-long process, no mess, no hassle, just perfect results. As always, from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, schedule your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
800-990-3776. That's the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Rasul Douglas traded to the Bills. The Packers give up Rasul in a 5th and receive a 3rd back. There is 11 minutes to go in the trade deadline. To me, if you just trade Rasul, that's not enough. Like if you're selling one of your best cornerbacks, your most consistent one right now, because Jair is up and down with his injury, then do more. Right? If you're going to get rid of Rasul, do more. That's what I want to see. We'll be back to discuss and hear from you. 800-990-3776 next.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN.
And I said, it just came out. I said, are y'all going to talk the whole show like this? Good for you. For the next 25 minutes, all they said was they started ripping me. Oh, you going to clap like that the whole time? You going to laugh like that the whole time?
No.
You going to lean back like that the whole time? Why don't y'all go sit over in the open seats?
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
Varsity on Wisconsin On Demand is home to all the latest and best Badgers content on ESPN Wisconsin. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Wisconsin On Demand, and wherever you get your podcasts. For the second time in 3 weeks, Wisconsin volleyball senior outside hitter Sarah Franklin has been named the Big Ten Player of the Week. Wisconsin got back on track following their first loss of the season against number 1 Nebraska last week with a pair of 3-0 sweeps over Michigan State and Minnesota. In 6 sets, Franklin averaged over 6 kills per set for a total of 38, including 21 against Minnesota. Wisconsin prepares to host number 19 Purdue on Wednesday night and a border battle at the Fieldhouse on Saturday night against Illinois.
Badger Minutes on ESPN Wisconsin are brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Schedule an appointment online today at PellaWI.com.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it yourself at 2 convenient Madison locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. Honda certified technicians handle it all. You can even get flexible payment options. Fix your car now and pay later. Apply online to see your options in seconds with no hard credit check. Make your service appointment online at ZimbrickHonda.com. Zimbrick Honda Service Center on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. All so you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote? Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
At Gruber Law Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Sunday. You take a morning walk to pick up burgers and beers. You tidy the house for 10 fellow football fans. And your biggest chore? Loading the Bud Light into the fridge. It all pays off because nothing is as easy to enjoy as a Sunday full of football. And beer. Bud Light. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It takes a team to meet just about any goal, and that's as true on the football field as it is in the office. So it's good to know that you have the Gordon Flesh Company on your side. For more than 60 years, GFC has provided cutting-edge office technology for companies of all sizes, and as the nation's largest Canon dealer, GFC delivers the latest office technology, serviced, and is supported by the most experienced professionals in the industry. That's business technology managed. Visit gflesh.com to learn more.
Hi, I'm Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock with Retirement Income Strategies. And what sets us apart is we're an independent, family-run office. We help clients like you understand the financial world and build a portfolio that's in your best interest. To learn more, go to MadisonMoneyGuy.com.
If you're looking to fill the vacant space in your commercial building, the local agents at RE/MAX and the Preferred Commercial Group are eager to grow your bottom line. Head to commercialwisconsin.com/ESPN and find an investment partner to lead the way to your property dreams today.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Ain't it crazy what love can do? Crazy what love can do. Da 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 da
Douglas, the first to go for the Green Bay Packers. With only 6 minutes left in the trade deadline, I do wonder if we will see any more. I doubt it. But my thing is if you get rid of Rasul, which the Packers have traded Rasul Douglas to the Buffalo Bills, the Packers receive a third and they get rid of Rasul in a fifth. Now, my thing is if you're going to get rid of your most consistent playmaker who can stay on the field right now at that position of cornerback, do more, right? Like the Preston Smith one is right there for you. It's just right there for you. He's been playing well. He's almost 31 years old. He's a guy that I think, like, if you're a contending team, you look at trying to go get for something very similar, third or fourth, like Rasul Douglas. If this team, after losing 4 games, I think there's not a lot of confidence, and I think Goody's now showing he's not confident. He just wants to continue to get younger, which is a whole strategy we can discuss in itself. Why not do more?
You know, the trade deadline is the day to plant your flag in the ground and say who we're going to be. And so the guys that are acquiring teams like the 49ers and the Bills, I mean, those guys are ready to go for it, right? They're making a run this year. That's what their focus is. And if you're a seller, it's so clear that this year you're tapping out, you're looking to next season. So under that same thought process, Ben, you might as well see what you can get. Everyone's up for sale. Take any phone call, make any phone call, and entertain any trade. Now, you don't want a fire sale to where you're not getting a lot of compensation back. That's the other thing, right? You could list all the guys and say, hey, let's get rid of X, let's get rid of Z. And you might get offered a 6th-rounder, a 7th-rounder, and you just say, look, that's not even worth it at that point. So you have to be careful to make sure you don't liquidate too much and not get anything in return. But anything that gets some value back, entertain it.
And I think for a team that is competitive, a Preston Smith will be a great move. Obviously, Goody, the phones are open. We know that they're listening for offers for a lot of different players. I don't know who the players are, but we know that
3 minutes and 30 seconds.
But I mean, Ray Allen got traded at the deadline. I never forget that trade, and it happened right at the deadline. And maybe Preston Smith is another one to go right at the deadline. I think it's important that Goody is definitely taking these calls and listening. And I appreciate the fact that he's actually listening and taking calls today. And like you said, planting that flag in the ground of saying, "Listen, this ain't the year."
800-990-3776. Before we get to Mo in Illinois on Goody being pathetic, maybe I can help him with this. As Admin Madison says, can't wait to see what Goody gets in the 3rd round. Well, it's been Oren Burks, Jay Sternberger, Josiah DeGuara, Amari Rogers, and Sean Ryan. Those have been your last 5 third-round picks. Mo, welcome into Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
So before I begin, I just want to know, so do any of you guys support this trade?
I do.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So I am a big believer that Brian Gutekunst, first of all, is not the answer as general manager of the Packers.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there, but I mean, this, as we look at this, he did find Rasul from a practice squad and turn him into a 3rd-round pick when they're not competitive.
Okay, and Brad, so you guys, I just want to make this clear. You guys, given Gutekunst's track record of drafting 3rd-round players, you guys are cool with this trade still? Given
Again,
his track record.
What are they going to do? Hold on to him and just keep losing and then waste an asset?
No, not wasting assets, but Rasul Douglas was one of the few players on this Packers defense that actually showed up. A few leaders in the locker room. We can't just discount that.
He's not the difference between winning and losing, and we've seen that already. This team, with or without Rasul, this team ain't winning more than I do. They're 2-5 right now, and they ain't winning more than 5 games this year with Rasul or without Rasul.
That is correct. However, you guys are looking at this team, watching this team for the past month, who's already extremely young and undisciplined, and we think that the solution is getting younger and younger and younger.
Look, if you want to question the strategy to continue to get younger, I understand that. But at some point, like, again, they have not done a good job of putting a roster together. And Goody specifically, I understand your point about, like, look, you're saying you're trading Rasul, one of your, top performers on the defense, to get a 3rd-round draft pick for a guy that has not delivered in the 3rd round and just delivered in building a roster. I understand that, but what else are you going to do? Hold on to him?
I personally would have loved to hold on to Rasul Douglas. If I'm the Packers, I would trade Preston Smith, maybe an edge rusher, But I think cornerback is now going to be a draft need. And we don't need more needs on this team. This team is already
Rasul is just going to get older. If you keep Rasul when you're good, he's not going to be where he is right now. Thank you for the call, Mo. I think that's ultimately where I'm going to end that conversation. It's great. I like Rasul, right? Like he at times he has made plays for this team in big moments. That was in the past. This team is now showing you. This team is now telling you internally, from an organizational standpoint, what they believe about their team. And if they're willing to give up Rasul for a third-round pick, they're telling you they're not ready to win for the next 2 or 3 years, which means you might as well get rid of a guy who won't help you in 2 or 3 years.
And I think giving up Rasul for a third-round pick shows the value that Rasul had to other teams, and this is the most valuable he would have probably ever been for the remainder of his career as a Green Bay Packer. Because going to the offseason, you probably don't get this same trade.
The reality is you need to go all in if you're going to do this. If you're going to go down the path of, I hate to say tank, but tank and get younger and get draft picks, you have to go all in on that. Now, you can't fire sale everyone. They obviously extended Gary, but it's not something that you can kind of have 1 foot in, 1 foot out in. I give the Packers credit for at least telling us who they are.
800-990-3776. Quickly, let's go to Craig in Fort Atkinson. Craig, welcome into Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. Your thoughts on Rasul being traded?
Hey, fellas, my only comment on it is I understand the third for Rasul, but nobody's talking about this fifth-round draft pick. You figure if Buffalo goes to the AFC Championship, that third round is basically the lower end of the third round. Where the Packers' record is now, that fifth round is going to could be a top 5 fifth-round pick. That's only 40 picks in between them. So Rasul for a third I get, but for them to throw a fifth-round pick in it, knowing Buffalo could have a low-end third-round pick with that.
Yeah, but like if we're in the business of worrying about where the fifth-round picks are, I mean, like that's not where you're going to rebuild like this team. This team's going to be rebuilt if they stink this year. They need to hit on the Jets pick that they're going to get in the second round, their own second-round pick, their early first-round pick. I understand your point, but if they are going to go younger, which I don't, like, you can agree or disagree that that's a good strategy or bad strategy. If you are going to get better, it's going to be because of your early picks. Now, I do appreciate the perspective. Thank you for the call, Craig. I just don't think that is something that I would put into consideration of like, oh, man, that's a deal breaker. We can't move Sewell.
Yeah, and honestly, like nerd cap knowledge coming out, second rounds and third round draft picks are the highest amount of like lowest cap and highest production that you can get. So second and third round picks are very coveted in a GM's mind. So I think it's a great thing. It's day 2, low salaries, and you're still getting a guy and you're locking him in for 4 years. If you can draft, it's an excellent place to be.
I trust the judgment of somebody who worked in investment banking and also played in an NFL. You know what?
Talking about me? I'm Brad Nortman today on stream on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee. I'm wearing the Jags jersey.
Like him then.
Yeah.
Show some
well, you know what? I can't wait. I can't wait to see how Brad Nortman does at Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust? I wonder if Ben Brust
becomes smarter.
Become smarter today.
We might have to shift a little. Are You Smarter Than Ben Brust? Because I think I want to keep hearing from KBN Nation here. 800-990-3776. Again, 800-990-ESPN. Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. Rasul Douglas and a 5th to the Bills for the 2024 third-round pick. Your reactions, 800-990-3776. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Do not go anywhere.
Don't. Legacy Exteriors. Just pick up the phone and let us leave a legacy on your home. Roofing, windows, gutters, siding, and decks. Can Legacy do it? You bet. Better prices, better warranties. Legacy always makes it easy. Go to legacy-exteriors.com. Legacy Exteriors. Just pick up the phone and let us leave a legacy on your home.
Hey, this is Eric Game of The Athletic. You're listening to Madison's Home of the Bucks, 100.5 ESPN, WTLX Monona, Madison, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good afternoon, Madison. I'm Ryan Wollersheim, and this is your Sports Center update brought to you by Green Bay Game Night. Join Homer, Gabe Neitzel, Mark Tauscher, and Jason Wilde for reactions and analysis immediately after every Green Bay football game this season on ESPN Wisconsin and Wisconsin On Demand. Well, another NFL trade deadline comes and goes, and this time around the Packers are sellers. The only move they're making ahead of today's 3 p.m. deadline was trading cornerback Rasul Douglas along with a 5th-round pick to the Buffalo Bills. in exchange for a 2024 third rounder. Packers apparently investing in the future and future draft capital over this season. Packers recently put Eric Stokes on IR as well, meaning that Jair Alexander and Carrington Valentine likely starting at cornerback for the Packers moving forward. Meanwhile, the rest of the NFC North was buying at the trade deadline. Chicago Bears traded a second-round pick for Montez Sweat from the Washington Commanders, and Minnesota got a new quarterback after Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles in last Sunday's win against the Packers, swapping day 3 picks with the Arizona Cardinals. Lions trading for Donovan Peoples-Jones from the Cleveland Browns.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studios in Madison, this is Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
The Packers made a move. They didn't buy, they didn't stay put, they sold. That would be Rasul Douglas. Rasul in a 5th rounder from 2024 to the Buffalo Bills for a 3rd round pick in 2024. 800-990-3776. You can get us on Twitter at KBN ESPN. Chris, now that the deadline is over, I would like to know if you are happy with just Rasul Douglas being moved. Should they have done more? That's going to be at KBN ESPN, 800-990-3776. Streaming on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee. Brad Nortman in my 2024, I didn't play in 2024, 2014 Elite Eight jersey that helped us lead, I barely did anything, to the Final Four in Dallas. Kyle Wallace in his Whitefish Bay jersey that Brad Nortman, our very own Brad, knocked him out of the state playoffs in, and I am in Brad's Jacksonville Jaguars helmet, shoulder pads, and jersey, feeling legit as ever. But it's time to break it down with you. 800-990-3776. Adam and Madison, welcome in to Kyle Brust and Nortman.
How's it going, guys?
You know, it's been real quick, Adam. The last 5 years, I felt like I've talked about the same thing. This is new and different and kind of unique. I want your thoughts.
So I understand moving Rasul, and I don't necessarily disagree with it, but my only worry is now that we have a hole opened up on the defense, Goody's going to waste another first-round pick on a defender who's going to get wasted under Joe Barry, and we're not going to get any depth at the line or any help that we need on offense to move the ball.
So I understand your concerns because no change has happened, but I don't foresee Joe Barry a part of this future. I think when you're selling off your defensive players, you're likely going to get rid of somebody who is shown who he is as a defensive coordinator for the Packers, and that's one that's not going to be a part of this future. Now,
he showed who he was when he went 0-16 in Detroit. I don't even know why he's here.
Look, you're preaching to the choir. I agree with that. That was friendship that he had with Matt LaFleur is the only reason why I believe that he is still here this year. Thank you for the call. The one thing that will be interesting is sometimes you just can't mess this up. If the Packers end up with a top 8 pick in the NFL.
Win.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if they end up with a top 8 pick, it's almost hard to mess that up with need, right? Like, Jalen Carter fell to 8 for the Philadelphia Eagles, right? And look what he's doing for a contending team. I don't have the draft. We can get into mock draft season a little bit later on. I think we're still breaking down if this offense can put together a couple drives where they don't run into each other. We can learn about Jordan Love. But in the same time, we're also going to have to be thinking, all right, if they're selling Rasul, how are they going to rebuild? What position is most important? Are they going to, again, I'm fine with an edge rusher again, as long as it's an edge rusher that makes that long-term impact in the top 5 or top 10 pick that they will get. So we'll continue to see a lot about this team, who's going to be around, who's going to be sold. And Kyle, you're shaking your head.
Well, I mean, 'cause here's the thing: is people are upset about, not upset, but people are like, "Well, we're getting rid of Rasul Douglas." I don't remember us worrying about Rasul Douglas following anybody against the Vikings last year. No, Jair Alexander is the stud. He is your guy. Rasul Douglas is a solid number 2 corner, and he's playing basically above what anybody expected him to play, which is great, but he's not a stud. He's not a superstar. We're upset that a guy that is replaceable, got dealt for a 3rd-round pick. Goody worked some magic with being able to get that out of Rasul Douglas. And
they found him off the street.
Yeah, exactly, and that's no knock on his talent. But listen here, people. If Eric Stokes does come back and healthy, you're not even thinking about Rasul Douglas potentially.
That's a big if.
Yeah, it is a bigger if than the top 8 pick. But if Carrington Valentine shows up and he plays defense, he plays decent, he has some ups and some downs, you're not worried about Rasul Douglas.
Well, it's not an unfair question to ask him to play defense.
But well, that's the thing. We heard all these reports about Carrington Valentine that every day he had a wow moment, and that's the whole thing with this entire philosophy is there's an expectation that young guys need to take a step. So this is the opportunity for Carrington to do that this year. And who knows if it's going to be this year or next year, but at some point we got to see it. And the other thing is that you have to keep on remembering, we brought this up with when we were on the phone with Tausch, where look, is Rasul Douglas even going to be here or in his prime when Packers
they're
are
trying to ascend?
Peaking?
Yeah, and I think this is a good point by Aaron, 800-990-3776. Pretty simple. The Packers can lose just as well with or without Rasul. So get something for him. I do think it will significantly impact the defense and leadership this year. But again, this year doesn't matter. And I think that's very well put by Aaron, 800-990-3776. Let's go to Kevin in Milwaukee. Kevin, you have some comments about an earlier caller on regards to the 3rd and 5th round pick.
I do. I've got lots of stuff regarding the Packers. One, in a quick nutshell, I listen to all these radio shows all day. I'm a retired mathematician, and it's been a big mystery what's wrong with the Packers. It's the offensive line, end of story. Do they have holes elsewhere? Yes, but people critical of Love, he had his best game, or one of his best games of the year. He completed 68% of his passes, and if you can count 3 drops, he's at close to 80%.
Well, everyone has drops. Last week was 6, but I don't think we can do that.
Sure you can, because everything's not equal. That's a false, lazy argument to just say everyone does it.
We're just supposed to expect every wide receiver to catch every pass? That's not realistic.
When it hits him in the hands.
Well, I'd like to see him catch it, but that's
if
not
you want
realistic.
to pass on Love, you can. Right now, the Packers have the 6th pick in the draft. But regarding the guy that talked about, it's a 3rd, low 3rd, high 5th, he forgot that there's a compensatory round at the end of the 3rd and the 4th. And it actually makes the pick projected right now for the Packers. The Buffalo pick is pick 88. And the Packers will have the 5th round pick, if it's in the top 6, as it's projected right now, would be about 60 picks later, which is almost a full 2 rounds later.
Yeah.
So
thank you, Kevin. We got to keep
what he said was
rolling.
true.
I'm sorry. I'm not here for compensatory picks right now. And what number? This is all going to change. And fifth versus 3rd round is not significant right now. Again, they're not going to change their franchise based off where the 3rd and 5th and the compensatory picks are. They need to, if you are going to get younger, you need to hit on impactful young players in the 1st and 2nd round. But that's what I care about.
But having more opportunities to hit in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round, as Brad said, 2nd and 3rd round is where you get the most value at, and you have another one of those value picks. You have 2 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd. And so this is why we should be excited. Again, I don't want Goody making the picks, but I'm just happy we have options now. I see a vision of the future, fellas. It's time to be excited.
Well, and as you look at this team, there are a lot of needs, right? I mean, the gentleman that just called in, he's right. That offensive line is a long way to go. There's a lot of areas in the team that has a long way to go, and that's why the idea of getting rid of the old and replacing it with new, the more draft picks, the better, because there is plenty of need. When they do the whole, hey, what are the draft needs, and they list the positions, there are going to be a lot of positions that are going to be listed.
Tell me what's not a need. 800-990-3776. Let's go to Dirk in Slade's Corner. Dirk, welcome into Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
Hey, guys. I kind of see what you guys are saying with selling, but I think there's a contradiction with the whole, you don't want Gutekunst taking the picks. Well, he's going to be taking the picks. So I think that's tough, but I think the real problem with me with Rasul is he was one of the guys that really actually looked like he wanted to make a tackle out there and play defense. And I want those guys on my team. And if you're going to sell and try and get more capital and good capital, to me, you get rid of Jair. And I know he's a great player and everything, but if we're selling, then let's sell.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Like, and my thing was at 3 o'clock, I was like, well, if you're moving Rasul, move Preston, move Jair, because the same arguments that we're having about, well, you can lose with Rasul or without Rasul. Well, the same goes for the other guys that are tradable assets.
Well, it's something we'll never know, but I would love to know what the active names were thrown around.
Thank you, Derek.
Because I'm sure there's several. I'm sure there are several names, but it's the same thing. If they get, hey, we'll give you a 5th rounder, we'll give you a 4th rounder, I actually have to give it a little bit to Goody to not just give dudes away. Right? I mean, because you don't just want to get rid of make a trade just to do it. And I think at this point, there's a temptation to do it, particularly if you're trying to maximize your own first-round pick. There's a temptation to just go fully young, and you don't want to do that either.
Yeah, there's a balance of, like, and I heard Rob Domofsky talking with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy earlier in this week. Like, they're young, and obviously when you trade and sell, you're going to get draft picks, which continues to make you young. But if you're young right now and young isn't working, you can't, and you add more young, you're just adding more young to the problem. So you have to pick and choose what guys you want to be around this team while you build the young. And I think that's the fascinating thing is, I'm not gonna lie, I don't want Jair around. He's been hurt. He's been doing more talking than producing on the field. And so again, like, it's just one of those things where Goody has a strong he has a big-time challenge in balancing how he grows this team, because we're all critical about how young they are. But in order to rebuild, which they're looking like they're heading into, they're going to have to get young again. And how do you do that but not replicate the same thing that we're watching on the field so far through 7 games? 800-990-3776. I'm not going to lie, we sound intelligent, but that's only because we have our great friends at Smart Spaces around our offices to keep us smart.
We have our great friends at Smart Spaces. I ran upstairs during the break. And you know what I love? I love looking at the beautiful TV screens that we have, all controlled by a nice Smart Space panel there on the side of the wall for us to be able to toggle between the different shows, whether you're listening to 94.5 ESPN or whether you're watching 101.7 The Truth for 620 WTMJ. You can utilize Smart Spaces to make it project onto the screen. I'm telling you, the world we live in is virtual, and you have to have a company like Smart Spaces that can help you navigate it. And you don't have to worry about the painful journey, because they will make it easy for you and make sure everything performs beautifully across all virtual meetings and settings. With Smart Spaces, that dream of having something that works easy and smooth becomes a reality. They make sure you have the right technology for the right reasons, and they have a listen-first culture, and they will learn your business needs and make sure that you have business solutions that work for your office. So make sure you improve your business today by visiting smartspaceswi.com. That is smartspaceswi.com.
Your thoughts on Rasul Douglas to the Bills? Plus, should they have done more? Should they have sold more? 800-990-ESPN. Again, 800-990-3776. Kyle, Brust, and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, presented by the official beer of the NFL, which I have on my jersey right now from Brad Nortman. Bud Light next.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, presented by Bud Light.
No, some of those things I say act like I think I'm something that I'm not.
I mean, you can say finna. Say, listen, I'm finna do this show here from 5 to 6.
I'm finna do this show.
The Homer Hour finna be lit from 5 to 6.
No, I'll never say that again.
It rolls, though, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't. It's not me.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
What's up? It's Stacy Bruner from Bruner Realty. Today's housing market can be tough to navigate. Let me and my staff of hardworking agents go to bat for you when it's time to buy or sell a home.
Hey, it's Jesse Nelson. Stacy led my wife Becca and I through our entire home buying process. He was incredibly helpful, a fantastic communicator, and from start to finish helped inform and guide us as first-time home buyers.
If you're in the market to buy or sell a home,
and you want the best experience possible,
contact us at BrunerRealtyInc.com. Bruner Realty, homes to appreciate.
You can drive cutting-edge design. 2023 Audis are on the lot and ready for delivery. You can save $7,500 on select Audi EVs with the AFS EV lease bonus. See dealer for details and exclusions. Eligibility is subject to credit approval through Audi Financial Services. Cannot be combined with National Customer Credit. Offer expires October 31st. Stop in and test drive today. Check out our website to see our current electric vehicle inventory and our monthly specials. The search for your Audi begins and ends at Audi Madison off the Beltline and Rimrock Road. Drive yours today.
Fleet Farm's got even more Black Friday Now deals for those who just can't wait.
Baronet's Radar Hunting Blind is on sale for only $89.99. And get 50 pounds of Safe Step rock salt for just $4.99 a bag. Save on 20-pound bags of KT Wild Bird Food, now only $8.99. Plus, get select sizes of whole cashews and mixed nuts for only $5.99. Enjoy these Black Friday Now deals and more at Fleet Farm, home of everything you need for everyday life.
It's that time again. Decorations are going up and family is stopping by. Welcome the pitter-patter of their mini feet with new carpet. The Home Depot has all the styles you want in colors you love from brands you trust. And installations included. Schedule your measurement by 11/13 and purchase by 11/27 so the carpet goes in before the family shows up. Get your house holiday ready at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Installation included. Qualifying purchase. Exclusions apply. For licenses, see homedepot.com/license numbers.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
There's nothing like a great night's sleep. If your mattress isn't quite right, chances are you're not sleeping as well as you should be. Steinhoffel's exclusive Discover Your Sleep system maps your body and sleeping position, and then finds the perfect mattress for you through science. So, stop in and find your perfect mattress with the Discover Your Sleep system, only at Steinhoffel's. Relax. It's Steinhoffel's.
You know Mountain Dew is like no other soft drink on earth. That's because Mountain Dew is the boldest soft drink the world has ever seen. Today, Mountain Dew, the most iconic flavor in the history of soft drinks, has spawned a new generation of outrageously craveable flavors that share its glory, like Mountain Dew Major Melon, Mountain Dew Code Red, Mountain Dew Spark, Mountain Dew Voltage, and Mountain Dew Livewire. So here's to the neon royalty of Dew and the Dew flavors that have come after it, the boldest flavors on earth.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Give me the green light. Give me just one night. I'm ready to go right now. I'm ready to go right now. Let's go.
Rasul Douglas on the move for the Green Bay Packers to the Buffalo Bills. The Packers receive a 2024 third-round pick, trading Rasul and a fifth round of 2024 to the Bills. 800-990-3776 is the number to get into the show. I'm Ben Brust alongside Kyle Wallace and Brad Nortman. We are in some gear. I'm wearing Brad's Jacksonville Jaguars game-worn jersey, game-worn helmet, and shoulder pads. Chris, you didn't even bring the your Jim Harbaugh.
I thought we were canceling everything because we were supposed to do something out at the fields today.
Well, yes.
Canceled it, but I didn't think we were still.
We were supposed to go kick and punt today out there, but it did not cancel the festivities of Brad wearing my Wisconsin Badgers basketball jersey and Kyle
guys
wearing.
Look great though, so
Thank you, and Kyle wearing the jersey that he got knocked out of high school in.
I was gonna do a helmet hit with you, and then I realized that helmet is probably on display in the Nortman household.
It is on display.
We can't helmet hit.
No, this helmet right here has this helmet right here has scars on it. That one is clean, smooth, and looks real nice. I ain't gonna do that.
Yeah, good man. You got like 90% of the way there.
He's like, oh wait. I said, wait a minute. I looked. I said that helmet looked too clean for me to do that.
I should bring in my Central helmet that has plenty of scuffs on it from playing in high school. That we can scuff up plenty because it's already scuffed up. The other ones, they're kind of pristine. I didn't lay many hits, boys.
Nobody
in the NFL.
cares about the Brookfield Central helmet. Okay?
Exactly. Exactly. It's why you can deliver a strike with it.
Let's just skip over that one.
Ben in Menominee Falls chimes in. I've lost all faith in Goot. Dude has not set Love up for success. I agree. Traded one of our top-performing defenders for a third-round pick, which he has historically sucked at. Now, again, I think it is funny to look at the track record of the third-round pick, but it is a win that he was able to turn Rasul Douglas, who was on a practice squad, into a player that did help this team, in one of the runs that they had in which they were a number 1 seed at home, but they laid an egg offensively against the 49ers. He's been a big part of this team. I wish he would have traded Malcontent Jair. Now, that's the one thing I continue to keep seeing. I tend to agree, but at the same time, I have a fear that with his recent injury history, he has not been tackling the same as aggressive. He's now had a back injury that he's dealing with. It's a hard thing to do in the trade deadline, is to lend somebody potentially or give someone a player that may not be able to help them right away. And what makes him most mad is he tried to sell us on a reload. This is a straight-up rebuild. Quit lying to the fans. We aren't dumb, Brian. Well, some people bought it. I can tell you that much. Kyle, what does that make you feel?
Leave me alone. What do you mean some people bought it?
I didn't say it was you, but did you buy it as a reload?
He said, did I buy it? I said before this season I expected 7 wins from this football organization.
And they
franchise.
started 2-1. You were ready to roll out the Super Bowl train.
I was excited, but I wanted people to calm down. I did not foresee it being this ugly against the Minnesota Vikings. Us not being able to, just finish games out when it came to the Raiders and when it came to the Broncos. I didn't foresee us getting routed like that by the Detroit Lions. So things just have been a little bit imbalanced and uneasy, and not the way I really foresaw this coming.
I mean, I got to say, the collapse has been pretty remarkable, right? I mean, from what expectations were, I think everyone thought like maybe there are 500 teams somewhere around there. They come out looking pretty good in the first few games. Expectations, and naturally expectations go up a little bit. And the collapse over the last 5 or 6 weeks has just been utterly unbelievable.
Yeah, isn't it pretty ironic when you think about it? The guy that made the move to trade Jair is the same guy that had Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and was the general manager of a team of 3 teams that won 13 games. Think about that. 2 NFC Championship games. 1 season in which they were the number 1 overall seed and had a bye, in which they faced the San Francisco 49ers, and on 4th and 7, Deebo Samuel exposed what has always been our issue, which is stopping the run. And so this is the same guy now that is trading away Rasul Douglas and put the team in the situation where they're no good, so he had to trade away Rasul Douglas. This goes back to yesterday, man. Goody's been the problem. For the credit he deserves for helping create rosters that did have chances to go to a Super Bowl, he deserves the blame too. It can go both ways. He's the reason why they're selling, and it's just funny to see him put his name on Jordan Love, not put enough around Jordan Love, and we're gonna go young. All right, great, you went young, but now what? It's just you said it, Kyle. You don't want him to make the picks, but the worst news in the world for you. This is going to be the guy making the picks.
For sure.
But my thing is this: at the end of the year, they have to evaluate the body of work. And when you look at the body of work that Goody has had, does the good outweigh the bad? Can you trust him to be able to maximize these picks? And if you are Mark Murphy, I understand everything that's coming in the future. If you evaluate what he has done for me recently, what he has done for us is nothing. He has nothing to show for. We are going to miss the playoffs in back-to-back seasons because of what Goody has put on this team. And then the true failure is going to be is that at the end of the year, I don't think we'll have a clear picture on what the future looks like because this team isn't going to show significant leaps and bounds or improvement from the youth. And we said this. If you don't know what Jordan Love is after this season, that is a complete failure and waste of a season. And it looks like Goody is going to have to wear that. That's why you truly have to evaluate and make a decision, not about, let's make the easy decision. No, make this tough decision. And that is exactly what leaders do. And the leader needs to get rid of Goody because Goody has proven he cannot build a full roster that can be together at one time.
Well, and the dismantling, it really is unprecedented, right? Because look, even if Rodgers didn't tear his Achilles this year, I think he'd be balling. I think he'd be doing really well. You look at Devontae Adams, he's still a stud. He's still a top 5 wide receiver. It's not like he unloaded all this talent and you look at it and say, well, even though he didn't bring in the right talent underneath, at least he bought, or at least he sold high. He did not sell high. He got rid of them way before, and they have still plenty left in the tank. So the fact that he purposefully... Yeah, that's right. And you look at that and you say he's completely dismantled it. I think...
Your mic is
off. Oh. Sorry, I mean, I've been wearing this damn Jacksonville Jaguars helmet. I'm talking without my mic on. I think do you just get a concussion wearing these helmets?
Yeah, you might. I mean,
I took mine off.
It crushes
I was
the
having
brain
a full-on
little bit.
conversation with Brad with myself.
Yeah, I was looking back and like, I can't hear you, bud. But it's been unprecedented, the dismantling. I'm telling you, I have a feeling he is going to be around for a while. He's not going to get fired. He's not going to get fired this offseason, and he's not going to get fired the offseason before Mark Murphy leaves. He's just not going to do that. We're talking
Can we
about
start a countdown to the retirement of Mark Murphy? I think, you know what?
They need to offer him a package.
I found, you know how I've been looking for a way to start the show?
Yeah.
It is going to be the countdown of days until Mark Murphy retires.
Wow.
Because that will be the day that I feel like there is a brighter future for the Green Bay Packers.
Come on now, you're going to listen.
That's trolling.
He's going to have Brad and I about to be part of that. Now all of a sudden they gonna know who, they already know who Brad is. They're going to know who Kyle Wallace is too.
You think, but here's the thing. Who cares about the Packers organization? Who cares about Mark Murphy, Goody, or LaFleur? None of them are going to be there because for the same reason we're having this damn conversation, they're no good. And it's Goody's fault for the way it's transpired this way. Justin in Milwaukee chimes in. From a Super Bowl contending team standpoint, it had way more to do with Ted. That's the frustrating part. Rodgers, Adams, Bakhtiari, Jones, all Ted guys. And again, the guy with his fingerprints all over this team right now is Goody, and we're seeing the results play out in front of our eyes.
There is nothing more annoying and infuriating to me is seeing somebody who is incompetent get praised and get rewarded. And that is what I'm seeing with Goody. And I'm saying he's not completely incompetent when it comes to women.
Who's praising him right now?
But if he has a job, that means he's being rewarded with a paycheck for failing. And that is the issue that I have when it is clear to me, and I am not an evaluator of any type of NFL talent, but what my eyes have shown me is that there are other people out there that can turn things around like that. Look at Philly. Philly went from a Super Bowl to sucking back to being in the Super Bowl, and that is because they hired somebody who turned that roster over and could evaluate talent. You don't have a person that is quality at evaluating talent.
You know why? Because they have an owner. And this is the Packers
be held accountable.
This is where it Brad, you said it perfectly yesterday. You pretended to be Goot talking to Mark Murphy. I don't know if you can redo that, but it was wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, and that's I was actually just about to say that, Kyle, because I guarantee the conversation going on inside the Packers organization right now is Goody saying to Mark Murphy, Mark, what did you expect? I told you this was going to happen. I told you we're going to go young. I told you this is going to be a process.
No, Mark's probably like, yeah, no, this is exactly what we expected.
You're right.
But he had some growing pains.
So Mark, give me more time. You got to let me have time to let these guys flourish. I guarantee.
The funny thing is he doesn't even have to sell Mark Murphy.
Yeah, I'm sure Mark's like, yeah, that's right. You did say that. Yeah. And congratulations, you can ride with me on the way out. I guarantee that's what he's saying.
We are flirting with uncharted territory as a Green Bay Packers franchise in 30 years of not knowing what is to come in the future because you don't have the most important position on the team locked down and understand what that looks like. You had Brett Favre in 1992, I believe it was, so you knew what was coming. You had Aaron Rodgers in 2008 going into 2009 as well, and you knew what was coming. You don't know what's coming with Jordan Love, and Mark Murphy needs to understand that you may be going into uncharted territory where everything might look good now and rosy now, but 5 years from now when you're not here, it may not be rosy because your team might be stuck in mediocrity. And that should be the biggest fear that Mark Murphy has is mediocrity for an organization that does not have deep pocket owners like other teams.
800-990-3776. I see your calls, but first I got to tell you about the Princeton Club. Went and worked out with my guy, Matty. If I would have known I've been wearing this jersey, I would have did a little more arms today, a little more bicep curls, a little more biceps in the gym today. But we are focusing on getting myself better for a better tomorrow, and that's why I love the Princeton Club. Free childcare with your membership, 24/7. They are open, and they are always making the facilities better. In Madison, East, West, Fitchburg, they're bringing new equipment in for you. In New Berlin here in Milwaukee, I see the new shower being renovated. It's amazing. You don't have to think about Am I at the place that is the best facility? You are. They're always investing in you, and they will continue to do so. 8 Madison locations and Fitchburg, New Berlin and Milwaukee. Find your better tomorrow at the Princeton Club. 800-990-3776. We talk to you, KBN Nation. Next.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
Listen, Diana, that's her name. Listen, we all about positive manifestation. I like you, Diana. All it is negative. Diana. Criticize.
Dirty Diana.
I love you, Kyle.
Love you too, girl.
I love you, Kyle.
I love you too. That's what I'm talking about. The real Packer Nation.
Presented by Bud Light on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Fleet Farm's got even more Black Friday Now deals for those who just can't wait. Baronet's Radar Hunting Blind is on sale for only $89.99. And get 50 pounds of Safe Step Rock Salt for just $4.99 a bag. Save on 20-pound bags of KT Wild Bird Food, now only $8.99. Plus, get select sizes of whole cashews and mixed nuts for only $5.99. Enjoy these Black Friday Now deals and more at Fleet Farm, home of everything you need for everyday life.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Zimbrick Chevrolet.
When was the last time you had your oil changed or your tires rotated? Do you need new tires, a battery, perhaps some windshield wipers? Zimbrick Chevrolet Service Center is equipped to help you with routine maintenance, major repairs, and everything in between. Get your free battery inspection coupon and schedule an appointment today at ZimbrickChevrolet.com. Don't overpay. Shop Zimbrick Chevrolet on Main Street in Sun Prairie.
Main Street, Sun Prairie, Zimbrick Chevrolet.
The GRB Rays have established themselves as one of the top baseball programs in the Midwest and the country. GRB Academy offers training programs for players of all ages and skill levels. Learn from some of the best baseball coaches in the area and find the program that fits your training goals and your schedule. Spots are filling up fast, so visit grbacademy.com to sign up now. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
Buckin' Honeys in Monona is hosting the new Wisconsin Huddle Show featuring star Wisconsin athletes and CBS sports anchor Zach Hanley every Monday night at 6:30. A $30 ticket includes a reserved seat, meet and greet, and a themed tailgate-style dinner spread. Wisconsin Huddle airs on WISC CBS every Friday evening. Come be a part of the live taping of Wisconsin Huddle and get to know your favorite Wisconsin student athletes. Call B&H Monona to reserve your seat at 608-478-2618. We'll see you at Buckin' Honeys.
Love is in the air and behind center for your favorite football team. SprayNet of Southern Wisconsin knows that the kitchen is the heart of your home. Let them help you fall in love with it again. In just a few days, SprayNet can have your kitchen cabinets looking like the day you first saw them. Their exclusive painting technology and technique will create a new look for your kitchen that is quick, affordable, and beautiful. Schedule an appointment today with Dale, the owner of SprayNet of Southern Wisconsin. Go to spraynet.com.
This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
If you're looking to fill the vacant space in your commercial building, the local agents at RE/MAX and the Preferred Commercial Group are eager to grow your bottom line. Head to commercialwisconsin.com/ESPN and find it.
To Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
You.
990-3776. Rasul Douglas and a fifth rounder traded to the Buffalo Bills for a third. That's the move that the Packers made. I don't think it was enough, but again, you got to make sure the value's there if you're going to sell. Say it was a Preston Smith or a Jair or whoever you'd like to choose. Something was done, and it helps you find a little bit more direction and clarity, but I think Brandon in Tulsa summarizes it perfectly. Hard to believe 2 years ago Rodgers was putting together his fourth MVP season. Now we're tanking. Goody was making this team worse and worse. Now, the good news is I don't think they're tanking because when you're just bad, you're bad. Like they're a bad football team. We've made that. It's been very clear. You lose to the Raiders, you lose to the Broncos, both with extended time to prepare for, and then you lose to the Vikings in a way where it just like you never really had hope other than when it was 10-3. And then after halftime, they did whatever they wanted, and then Kirk got hurt. So you've got a clear vision of what this team is. Again, 800-990-3776. Bud Light is the official beer of the NFL, and I'm like Brad. I'm like Roger Goodell's guy right now because I got his Jaguars jersey on. I'm like a logo. But it is the official beer of the NFL. And when the game goes into overtime, you have more time to enjoy a Bud Light, even when the little things in life are hard. Again, pick up Bud Light at your local retailer. Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL. Let's go to David in NYC. He brought the heat yesterday. Let's see if he does it again. David, welcome.
Hello. I am at a loss for words. I actually screenshotted the drafts under Gutekunst, and maybe 2019 is acceptable depending on how you evaluate Darnell Savage, but the rest are just absolute Fs.
I can tell you, they benched Darnell Savage and they picked up his fifth-year option last year. He's no good.
So you have 2019, where is it? You have Rashawn Gary and then Elkin Jenkins, and then the rest of the drafts are all Jay Sternberger, Kingsley Keiki. So you got two players out of a draft. I don't think you have enough serviceable players with that many draft picks for that to be acceptable, despite those two very good players. The rest are just absolute Fs. 2022 and 2023 are to be determined, but that's not adequate compensation. Maybe a third round, just straight up, if you had a general manager who knows what he's doing. But Jordan Love is a bust. He's been in the league for 4 years. He was under the wing of one of the greatest quarterbacks who ever played, and there are these problems in accuracy. It's exactly what I said yesterday. If Packer fans don't find a way to go to that Titletown tour and confront Mark Murphy for what he's done to this organization, petition the board to get him out of the front office. I mean, one draft, bad draft.
Got to keep it rolling, David. I appreciate your perspective, but I got to keep it rolling. 800-990-3776. Again, he went from angry. He's in a lot of phases right now. From angry yesterday to, I think, I don't know, what's the...
disbelief, maybe, or lack of hope?
In the stages of grief.
Yeah, well, I don't know the stages of grief, but I know the stages of David because I went through it. No, not even denial. You're just in the stages of disbelief. Is like
sadness.
You come to the realization of like
hopeless.
This is what we're dealing with. And
let's go to John in Columbus because again, I understand this thought. I just don't think it's going to happen. John, welcome into Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
Hey Ben, thanks for taking my call. Two things. The one is Mark Murphy has done so many things that have just like caught people like, what are you doing over the last year, that maybe Mark Murphy cleans house at the end of this season. And the other thing, you had mentioned we're not tanking. Could this possibly be Goody realizing that Jordan Love isn't the guy? Rasul is our best defensive guy who's performing. So what better way to make sure that we get that spot for the number one pick by getting rid of your defensive playmaker so it doesn't look like we're tanking just to make sure that they tank and get that so he can have the picks that he needs to maybe put us back on top.
So I'm going to say what Tausch said earlier, John. Thank you for the call. Everything's on the table. I thought of that one myself, but like it's hard for me to be like, you know what? Rasul is a big enough name to move on from that it means they're going to continue to lose games. Like it's still the NFL. They still have guys that are going to go out and compete. Your hope is that the offense gets better. You sign Rashawn Gary to a 4-year contract. He's still out there. Quay Walker, you have a guy like that who's you're hoping to have a piece that he can build with, right? The 2022 and the 2023 NFL draft, like those are guys you need to see all come together with what you're going to keep. I don't think moving on from Rasul is a big enough move to be like, yeah, this is us saying we're tanking for a quarterback. Agree or disagree?
Well,
it helps you be worse. You're already bad, but I don't think it solidifies that you're going to get in a position for Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I mean, the two facts are you've gotten worse, so you're likely going to lose more games, and you're stockpiling draft picks. Now, the question is why? Why are you stockpiling draft picks? Why do you want to get worse? Well, clearly they've given up on this year, and you stockpile draft picks for one of two reasons. One, and we talked about this a little bit in break, Kyle, you said that maybe you're trying to get a haul so that you can move up. If the rest of the year Jordan Love doesn't show that he's the guy and you're at pick 4 and you want to get up and get one
you
of the
want to be
guys,
like the Carolina Panthers. You might not be able to trade up for pick 1 for Caleb Williams, but if you want Drake May in pick 2, you got some capital coming from the Jets. You have your own first-round pick. You're going to have your own second-round pick. Like, you're getting something for Rasul Douglas. Like, you're trying to build up as much capital as possible to land the splash guy that you think can be a franchise-changing player. And that's what they're going to need. They're not going to win in the back half of the draft. They're going to have to win, especially since they're young right now, with a franchise-changing player. 800-990-3776. We got to get to our great friends at Rutledge and Hamilton, David, Virginia, Al, Milwaukee, and others. Again, we will be taking all of your calls in the Faux One Faux Hour at Faux. But right now, time to get to Rutledge and Hamilton, a little crosstalk. Really excited to get their perspective on everything that's transpired. 800-990-3776. You can hold until 4 o'clock, but Rutledge and Hamilton coming up next on Kyle, Brust, and Nortman.
You run.